أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
Surah 97 Al-Qadr, Power, Meccan period. Title. The opening word Al-Qadr is taken as this surah's title. Period of revelation. There is some divergence of opinion about whether this is a Meccan or Medinan surah. In his Al-Bahr al-Muhit, Abu Hayyan says that most Quranic scholars regard it as Medinan. Ali ibn Ahmad al-Wahidi goes a step further in asserting that it was the first surah to be revealed in Medina. On the contrary, Al-Mawardi considers it as Meccan on the authority of many scholars. The same point is reiterated on Suyuti's Al-Itqan. Ibn Murdawayh cites Ibn Abbas, Ibn al-Zubair, and Aisha to the effect that it is a Meccan surah. In the light of its contents, it tends to be Meccan, a point elaborated in the explanatory notes that follow. Subject matter and themes. Essentially, this surah aims at making people aware of the significance and glory of the Quran. The placement of this surah next to Surah Al-Alaq signifies the interconnections between the two. While Surah Al-Alaq contains the first revelation, this surah explains on which night of power the glorious Quran was sent down and the significance of its revelation. The opening verses declare that the Quran has been revealed by Allah. In other words, it is not the product of the Prophet's mind. It is Allah who is its author. It is further clarified that Allah sent it down on the night of power. As for the night of power, the phrase has two meanings, both of which are intended here. One, it is the night on which fates are decided. In other words, it is not an ordinary night. Man's fate is made or marred on this night. The revelation of the Quran on this night does not represent any ordinary event. Rather, it will change the destiny of the Quraysh, the Arabs, and of the whole world. The same truth is affirmed in verse 3 of Surah Ad-Dukhan 2. It is a blessed and glorious night, better than even 1,000 months. The unbelieving Meccans are warned that the Quran presented to them by the Prophet, peace be upon him, is foolishly rejected by them, which results in its bringing a curse for them, whereas its revelation was ordained on a night that is better than 1,000 months in terms of its impact on mankind and its usefulness. This point also features in Surah Ad-Dukhan. On this night, the angels along with the Spirit descend by the permission of their Lord with all kinds of decrees. There is nothing but peace on that night until the rise of dawn. For Allah's decrees are for man's good and no evil is intended. Even if the destruction of a community is effected, it is for the overall good, not for any evil end.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim.
In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate.
Inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr.
Behold, we revealed this Quran on the night of power.
1. The words in the original are Anzalnahu, we sent it down, but although there is no mention of the Quran before it, the Quran is implied, for sending down by itself points out that the Quran is meant. And there are numerous instances of this in the Quran that if from the context, or the style, the antecedent of a pronoun is apparent, the pronoun is used even if the antecedent has not been mentioned anywhere before or after it. For explanation see N. 9 of Surah An-Najm. Here, it has been said, we sent it down, the Quran, in the night of destiny, and in Surah Al-Baqarah, Ayat 185, Ramadan is the month in which the Quran was sent down. This shows that the night in which the angel of God had brought down revelation for the first time to the Prophet, peace be upon him, in the cave of Hira, was a night of the month of Ramadan. This night has been described as Laylatul Qadr here and as Laylatul Mubarakah in Surah Ad-Dukhan, Ayat 3. There can be two meanings of sending down the Quran in this night. First, that in this night the entire Quran was entrusted to the bearers, angels, of revelation, and then Gabriel continued to reveal its verses and surahs, from time to time, to the Prophet, peace be upon him, during 23 years as the occasion and conditions demanded. This meaning has been given by Ibn Abbas, Ibn Jarir, Ibn al-Mundhir, Ibn Abi Hatim, Hakim, al-Bin Mardiya by Haki. Second, that the revelation of the Quran began in this night. This is Imam Shabi's view, although from him too the other view is also related, which is the view of Ibn Abbas as cited above, Ibn Jarir. Anyhow, in both cases, the meaning is the same, that the revelation of the Quran to the Prophet, peace be upon him, began in this very night, and this was the night in which the 5 opening verses of Surah Al-Alaq were revealed. The fact, however, is that Allah did not compose the verses and the surahs of the Quran right at the time guidance was needed by the Prophet, peace be upon him, for his message of Islam in respect of an occasion or affair. But even before the creation of the universe, in the very beginning, Allah had a full plan of the creation of mankind on the earth, of raising the prophets in it, of sending down the books to the prophets, of raising the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, at the end of the line of the prophets, and of sending down the Quran to him. In the night of destiny only the execution of the final phase of the plan began. No wonder if at that very time the entire Quran was entrusted to the bearers of revelation. Some commentators have interpreted Qadr to mean destiny, Taqdir, i.e., it is the night in which Allah entrusts the decrees of destiny to the angels to be enforced. This is supported by verse 3 of Surah Ad-Dukhan. This is a night in which every matter is decided wisely by our command. On the contrary, Imam Zuri says that Qadr means glory and honor, thereby implying that it is a night of destiny. This meaning is supported by the words Laylatul Qadr is better than 1,000 months of this surah itself. As for the question as to which night it was, it is disputed and there are as many as 40 different views on this subject. However, a great majority of scholars hold the opinion that one of the odd nights of the last 10 nights of the month of Ramadan is Laylatul Qadr, and among these also most scholars think that it is the 27th night. Below we give the authentic ahadith which have been reported in this connection. According to Abu Huraira, the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, in connection with Laylatul Qadr, that it is the 27th night. Abu Dawud Tayalisi. According to another tradition from Abu Huraira, it is the last night of Ramadan. Musnad Ahmad. When Zur bin Hubaysh asked Ubay bin Ka'b about Laylatul Qadr, he stated on oath, and did not make any exception, that it is the 27th night. Ahmad, Muslim, Abu Dawud, Tirmidhi, Nasai, Ibn Hibban. When Abu Zer was asked about it, he said, Umar, Hudhayfa and many other companions of the Prophet, peace be upon him, had no doubt that it is the 27th night. Ibn Abi Shayba. Ubadah bin As-Samit says that the Prophet, peace be upon him, said Laylatul Qadr is one of the odd nights of the last 10 nights of Ramadan, 21st, 23rd, 25th, 27th, 29th, or the last night. Musnad Ahmad. Abdullah bin Abbas says that the Prophet, peace be upon him, said search for it among the last 10 nights of Ramadan when there are still 9 days in the month, or 7 days, or 5 days. Bukhari. Most of the scholars have understood it to mean that by this the Prophet, peace be upon him, meant the odd nights. Abu Bakr said, when 9 days remain in the month, or 7 days, or 5 days, or 3 days, or the last night. What he meant was that Laylatul Qadr should be sought among these days. Tirmidhi Nasai. According to Aisha, the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, search for Laylatul Qadr among the odd nights of the last 10 nights of Ramadan. Bukhari, Muslim, Ahmad, Tirmidhi. Aisha and Abdullah bin Umar have also reported that the Prophet, peace be upon him, observed itikaf, seclusion in the mosque, during the last 10 nights of Ramadan every year during his lifetime. On the basis of the traditions related in this regard on the authority of a great companions like Muawiyah, Ibn Umar, Ibn Abbas and others, a large number of the earlier scholars regard the 27th of Ramadan as Laylatul Qadr. Probably Allah and His Messenger have not specified any one night for the reason so that the people, in their zeal to benefit from the virtues of Laylatul Qadr, should spend more and more nights in worship and devotion, and should not remain content with only one night. Here the question arises that when it is night at Makkah, it is daytime in a large part of the world. Therefore, the people of those parts can never take advantage of Laylatul Qadr. The answer is that the word night in Arabic is mostly used for the combination of the day and night. Therefore, the night preceding the day on any one of these dates of Ramadan can be Laylatul Qadr for that part of the world.
وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا لَيْلَةُ الْقَدْرِ.
And what do you know what the night of power is?
لَيْلَةُ الْقَدْرِ خَيْرٌ مِّنْ أَلْفِ شَهْرٍ.
The night of power is better than 1,000 nights.
2. The commentators in general have understood this to mean that the good acts performed in this night are superior in value to the good acts of 1,000 months in which Laylatul Qadr is not included. There is no doubt that this is in itself correct, and the Prophet, peace be upon him, has described great excellences and virtues of the good acts and devotions of this night. According to a tradition related in Bukhari and Muslim, on the authority of Abu Hurairah, the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "The one who remains standing in worship in the state of belief and for the sake of rewards from Allah during Laylatul Qadr, would have all his previous sins forgiven." And in Musnad Ahmad, there is a tradition from Abdullah bin As-Samit, saying that the Prophet said, Laylatul Qadr is among the last 10 nights of Ramadan. The one who stood up in worship in order to take advantage of their rewards, Allah will forgive all his former and latter sins. But the verse does not say, to act righteously in Laylatul Qadr is better than acting righteously in 1,000 months. But it says, Laylatul Qadr is better than 1,000 months. And 1,000 months also does not imply 83 years and 4 months exactly, but a very long period of time, as 1,000 denoted among the Arabs. Therefore, the verse means that in this one night, a task was accomplished for the welfare of mankind, the like of which had not been accomplished even during an indefinitely long period of history.
تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر.
The angels, along with the Spirit, descended by the permission of their Lord with all kinds of decrees.
3. The Spirit, Gabriel, who has been mentioned separately from the angels in view of his unique eminence, honor, and merit. 4. That is, they do not descend of their own accord but by leave of their Lord, and every decree implies Amar Hakim, a wise decree, as described in Surah Ad-Dukhan, Ayat 5.
سلام هي حتى مطلع الفجر.
All peace is that night until the rise of dawn.
5. That is, the entire night, from evening till morning, is peace, free from every evil and mischief.